Hey, this is Jennifer, and I just want to give you a quick tip on an add-on in Google Sheets that can make your life really simple. It takes the raw data you collect in a Google form, it imports and merges it into a template that you create, and then produces a document from that information. So if you are needing to fill in reports, if you're wanting to do assessments as you do PBL, if you want to do group assessments, if you want to automatically generate certificates, all of that can be done with the completion of a Google form and set to trigger as soon as the student submits the Google form, it automatically creates the document. So let me show you how this works. It is a mail merge extension called Autocrat, and I'm going to show you what you need and how to set it up. So a great application for this would be the writing samples that you're turning in on a weekly basis. So if you're going to use a Google form, it can be any kind of Google form, one you generated, one you copy from somewhere else, as long as it's got the information that you need. And you're going to make sure your Google form is set up. Select that it sends the responses to a Google Sheet, which in this case, here's my Google Sheet. And we're going to add the functionality of Autocrat onto my Google Sheet. But before I can set up that mail merge, I need two other things. The first thing I need is a template that I want to create. So each of these items in this template is data that we're pulling from the form. So you'll remember there was a question on the form for their name, for their subject, for their teacher, for what they're writing in their response, and the mail merge is going to pull that information out of the spreadsheet and drop it into this document. So here's one that a student named D. Ortiz did on the 30th in aquatic science. So this is the document that was created, and this was not a separate document that had to be made by hand. It was automatically generated when the form was submitted. So you'll need a form, you'll need the sheets that's collecting your response, you'll need that template that's set up with this written like this, the two carets, the name of the field and the two carets, so that it knows where to put the information. And then you're going to need some kind of a folder created in your Google Drive that will collect the data. So once we have those pieces, we're going to go to our Google Sheet, because remember, this runs in Google Sheets. And it is an add-on, so we're going to start with the add-on menu. I've already got it set up here, but I want to show you if I was looking for it or any other add-ons. I'd go to Get Add-ons, and then I would use the search to type in what it is I want. Autocrat is what it's called, so I'll just search there. It's just like adding an extension or an app in Google Chrome Store. So here it is. I would do the blue free button if I didn't already have it there, but since I already have it there, that is all I need to do. So you'll notice once you've added it, it'll show up on your add-ons. I'm going to select the Autocrat, and I'm going to open and do a couple of little items to set it up. And it's just going to give it directions on what to do. This is the third version of Autocrat, so if you've ever used an earlier version, some of the features are better now than they were before, and others of them are similar with maybe just different words. So this is the one that I already have set up. So I'm going to show you, if I wanted to start from scratch, I would do New Job, and I would walk through the steps. So I'm going to select New Job. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it writing, and I'm going to go to the next step. So the next thing I need to do is decide what template am I going to use. So you remember that document I had that had the little fields that I wanted to drag that information in? It's called the writing template, and that's the one I'm going to use because it's one I've used recently. You'll notice there's some other ones. If you've gone to the Google Academy after school and received a certificate from me, Autocrat is how I'm doing that. So those are some other templates that I already have set up. If you don't see a recently used template you want to use, then you can use the From Drive option to go through your Google Drive and find where that file is. But since the writing template's the one I want, I'm going to click Use. And it's going to start to pull all of the tags together. So once it's just picked it, I'm going to click Next, and now you'll recognize these tags. So in my template, there was a tag called Date, So I want to make sure it's mapped to pick up the information from the form that's in the date column. The tag called name, I want to pick that up. Subject, I want to make sure that is mapped together. I want to map teacher, and then I want to map right here. And then I'm going to click next. So you're just giving the computer instructions on how to match up this information. So we want to use a naming convention that is the same for everybody. So if I use this little pullout, I can see the tags. So I'm going to start the tag with the name of the person. So I'm going to select name and then paste it in. I'm going to go ahead and put a space. I'm going to pick the date and then paste it in. I'm going to pick the teacher and then paste it in. And then I'm going to pick the subject. Just a simple way. So that's also going to fill in when the document is created. So we want to create a Google document or a PDF. Those are our two choices. I'm just going to leave Google document for now. I'm going to want multiple documents, meaning that every student is going to have its own document. I'm going to click next. And now I have to decide where I want those finished files to go. So I'm going to choose my folder. Remember, you've set up a folder you're going to add this to. I've got mine called Writing Sample, and it's just called Writing Sample, and I'm going to select it. I'm going to click next. Now this is an option if you want to make it fancy. We're going to skip it for this. And here's another option if you want some conditions applied. We're going to skip that. Now if I wanted to shoot the finished document as an email to specific people, I could do that by selecting Share Your Document. If you had email as one of the fields in the form, then you could have it automatically send the document to whatever email the student put into the form. But we don't care that the students see their writing samples in this situation. We just want a copy of it. So we're not going to share the document with them. And we're going to click Next. We want this to run when somebody submits the form. So we want it to run on the form trigger. We could set it up to run on a timed trigger. So we could say at 4 o'clock every day, trigger this document to be created. But we don't want to do that. We want it every time a student submits, they automatically do the run. So I'm going to click Save, and it is creating that job in Autocrat. So now I have two options here. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like. So here is my sample, writing sample, and I'm going to fill it out as if I was a student. So today is the 30th. My name is Jennifer Schaefer. I am in English 3. I have Tipton as my teacher. And then I'm going to respond with something. Really like English. And again, never can spell with an audience. Okay, so once I click Submit, just like anybody completing a form, it's going to say, thank you, your response has been recorded. But in the background, what it's done, it's created this file. So I'm going to reload because sometimes it takes just a split second. And it's going to create a file. Make sure I didn't put it in this folder. Nope. So maybe it takes longer than a split second. So it's merged the information from the Google form, there we go, into my document. So I have two actually here. They have the same file name with the exception of the teacher and the class. And it's actually done a double run on that. So here's the form. I had completed all that information, came into a template, and there's my document. So when you use a mail merge like this, you have created all of these independent documents. Every time the student creates the does the form with a writing sample, a document like this is going to be created for each one of them. So if I need to add this to a shared folder, I can just click the share options and share it with whomever I need to, or I can select to move it into a folder that's already been shared with the whole campus. And I'd only have to share the ones that are fit the criteria of the writing samples that need to be shared. Another way I've used this is to create assessments, a report that needed to be generated based on certain criteria. You started out with the Google form, put all that data in, and then generate the report that can be turned in. It doesn't have to be as simple as just the carets. It can be text with the caret tags inside of the text. For instance, here is one that I use for the Google Academy in the afternoons. This is my template that I use for certificates. And you'll see that the people that have come, there is a certificate generated with each of their names in it. But I have a template that I use over and over and over again. It's this one right here. So I have graphics in it, a picture file of my banner, I have text, and the only piece of information that gets brought into this one is their name. So you can set up any kind of document as long as it has those little tags that Autocrat can use to generate its report. I hope you find this helpful. If you want to learn more about how to use Autocrat, come see me in the library. Have a great day.